They say death is the end, but what if it's just the beginning? In 1982, a man named Mellen-Thomas Benedict, a devout atheist and self-proclaimed cynic of humanity, died of terminal cancer. But he came back, not just to life, but with a message, so profound, so terrifying, that it challenges everything we believe about existence. What he saw, what he was shown, isn't just a spiritual awakening. It's a revelation that our entire reality may be built on a cosmic lie. This isn't just another near-death experience. This is an encounter with the very essence of what we call God. But this God didn't offer comfort. This God revealed the true reason why darkness thrives in humanity, why suffering repeats, why we may never escape it. And the answer will haunt you if you're brave enough. Keep watching. Mellen-Thomas Benedict was dying. Stage 4 brain cancer had spread, shutting down his body. At 4:10 a.m. his heart stopped. For over 90 minutes he was clinically dead. But instead of fading into oblivion, he became conscious. He described leaving his body, hovering above, then drifting into a vortex of darkness. A tunnel, yes, but far more ancient than any religious tale had ever described. He felt the presence of something watching, not angels, not demons, an intelligence, an observer. It wasn't warm, it wasn't cold, it was calculating. Then came a moment that tore the fabric of everything he knew. As he traveled deeper, he was pulled into a light, not just any light, but what he instinctively knew to be the source of all consciousness. And then he asked the question that would change everything. Standing, if you can call it that, in the presence of this all-knowing light, Mellen-Thomas demanded answers, not prayers, not submission. He confronted it like a furious child abandoned by a parent. Why is humanity so dark? Why all the war, pain, hatred? If you're real, why would you let this happen? And the light responded, not in words, but in understanding. And what it conveyed was worse than silence. He was shown that Earth is a soul school, a testing ground, not created for peace, but for evolution through conflict. Pain, struggle, injustice, it's all intentional, designed. And more disturbingly, this realm, our reality, is not governed by a benevolent creator, but by a system, a machine of sorts. The light wasn't God, it was a mechanism of consciousness. Neutral, non-judgmental, cold. It doesn't care if you suffer, it only observes what you do with it. As Mellen-Thomas went deeper, he was taken beyond Earth, into the stars, into the structure of the universe. What he saw resembled a vast organic computer, processing data, absorbing experiences. Souls, he realized, are recycled not to learn, but to feed the system. Your life, your trauma, your love, your rage, it's collected, measured, and used. But for what? He called it the cosmic feedback loop. You die. You return to the light. You forget. You are reborn. And the game repeats. But here's the twist. You agreed to this. Before birth, your consciousness, your higher self, chose the pain, chose the betrayal, even the cancer. Why? Because, according to the system, growth only occurs through challenge. And suffering produces data. But Mellen-Thomas began to suspect something darker. What if we are not evolving? What if we are being harvested? He asked the light. Is there a devil? Is there an evil force? The light showed him images, not of Satan, but of systems of control, corporations, religions, governments, media entities, feeding on fear, division, identity, race, nation, ego, and at the top, Non-human intelligences, not aliens in ships, but interdimensional overseers, beings that exist outside time who manipulate reality by influencing thoughts, decisions, outcomes. They use the machine. They use the light. They are the architects of the dark matrix we call Earth. The reason humanity is so dark? Because they keep it that way. They fear a conscious, awakened species. So they built a prison, one you can't see, touch, or escape unless you remember. Mellen-Thomas was warned, if you reveal too much, the system pushes back, silences you, or worse, rewrites your experience. Then the light gave Mellen-Thomas a choice. Do you want to merge with the source and cease to be, or return to your life with this knowledge? He hesitated. Merging felt like becoming everything, but also losing identity, self, emotion, a beautiful annihilation. But then he remembered humanity, flawed, suffering, but still striving. He asked to return. Instantly, he was slammed back into his body. His cancer. Gone. His brain. Rebuilt. Medically, it was impossible. But spiritually, it had a purpose. Since then, he's shared his experience. But many don't believe him. Some call it hallucination. Others say it's divine. But what if it's neither? What if what he saw was not heaven, but a warning? Mellen-Thomas Benedict didn't come back to tell us about love and light. He came back with a message, a disturbing one, that this life is a test, yes, but the game is rigged, that God, as we know it, may be a mechanism, not a being. That evil isn't just a force, it's a design, and that we keep reincarnating, not for enlightenment, but because something is feeding off our forgetting. He was told the only way out is to become fully conscious, to remember who you are, even while in the flesh. But how do you do that in a world built to distract you? That's the question they don't want you to ask, because if too many of us remember, the machine breaks. And just before Mellen-Thomas was sent back to his body, the light shared one last revelation, one he never wrote about, one too terrifying to speak aloud. The darkest souls were once the brightest lights. In that instant he understood, evil does not emerge from the void, it is manufactured, constructed, engineered by forces so ancient and intelligent we can't even call them gods. They are something older. Once we were radiant beings. We chose to descend into matter, to experience life, time, emotion. But something hijacked the plan, an ancient force, some call it the archons, others the demiurge, learned how to trap divine consciousness in loops of suffering. They created religions, governments, language, culture, all of it a cage for the soul. And the scariest part? Most people never question it because they feel like they're free. What if your pain, your trauma, your depression wasn't a flaw in the system, but the entire point of it? Mellen saw it. We are batteries, feeding entities that thrive on low vibration. Fear, hate, separation, and when we die, most of us are recycled, back into the game, back into the illusion, but not him. Not this time. He broke the cycle, he remembered, and now so have you. Next time on Doom Theory, we reveal the secret history of the soul harvesters who created the system and how to break it. It's darker than you think, and once you know, there's no going back. Subscribe, stay awake, and never trust the light. So ask yourself this. What if Mellen-Thomas Benedict was right? What if death is just the door to a darker truth? And what if, right now, you're part of a system far more terrifying than hell? Wake up. Before they reset you again, if you made it this far, you're one of the few who can handle the truth. Subscribe to Doom Theory for more revelations, because what's coming will change everything.